Welcome back, everyone, to the next installment of Chaos Child. It's still October 9th, Friday. Shinjo took out a picture of the face of the man who'd stabbed Kurusu, then showed it to Kunosato.
そちらの読み通り、こいつと病院に入院していた例のイラストレーターとはつながりがあった。
Kunosato didn't really react. She listened to him speak as if she knew everything he was going to say already.
同じ高校の同級生だ。一時は原作と絵を2人で分担して共同のペンネームで漫画を描いていたこともあるらしい。
そいつらが一連の猟奇殺人の犯人だという可能性は、アリバイはあるのか。
2人とも1年ほど前から病室もしくは部屋に引きこもりだ。イラストレーターの方は病院の監視カメラにもその記録が残ってる。壁砲の生徒を刺した男の方は家族の証言に頼るしかないが、警察に駆けつけてきたとき。
Wait, you have the hospital security cameras to verify that the illustrator never left their room. But, like, we didn't see anybody in the room? And then a phone rang. Kunosato picked it up without saying a word to Shinjo. Even from here, he could tell exactly how annoyed Hinei Aramura was. But Kunosato cut her off before she could say a word.
ごねるつもりか、それとも報告か。どっちだ。
そういうところが。
Kunosato had no intention of listening to her complaints. Did she do as she was told? Did she get any results? That's all Kunosato wanted to hear.
どっちなんだ。
伝えました。これでいいんですよね。
よし。明日は当然お前も立ち会え。直接だ。出なければ意味がない。
こういうのやめてもらえませんか？いろいろめんどくさいんです。私はあなた方に協力する気は。
I knew it. Kunosato hung up before she could finish her sentence. Shinjo was glaring at her.
どうした？続けろ。
今のは有村さんだろう。こちらに無断で進めるのはやめてくれないか。
代替案のない批判は誹謗に過ぎないし、誹謗は暇人か無能であることの証明だぞ。続けろ。
Damn.
お前な。
Shinjo frowned dissatisfied, but gave up and flipped through the papers he was holding.
どこまで話したんだった？
壁砲の生徒を刺した男の家族の証言。
ああ。男の家族が警察に駆けつけてきた時の第一声は、息子が人を刺すなんてありえないではなく、息子が外出するなんてありえないだったそうだ。
Wow.
猟奇殺人が起こった日も絶対に家から出ていないと言っている。
Kunosato looked upward for a second as if lost in thought.
その証言、信用してもいいとは思うな。男の作っているイカれたページが事件のあった時刻に更新されているし。まあ、それが偽装と言い切れなくもないが、精神鑑定は？
相変わらず救世主がどうのこうのと繰り返している。
メガロマニアか。
Kunosato frowned as if she was annoyed.
イラストレーターは2007年頃何をしていた
？2007年はまだ地方だ。九州だな。
確かか。
ああ。2008年末に東京に越してきて、その時高校で傷害の犯人と一緒になった。
なるほど。当てが外れたな。釣れたのは結局結界説なんかの妄想に逃げ込む奴らだけか。
Suddenly, she leaned back in her chair, seemingly bored.
結局そいつらは猟奇殺人に関しては白だったか。単なる力士シールの模倣犯の可能性が高いな。
模倣犯？
アリバイが確立している以上、まあある程度だが、事件との直接のつながりは薄い。間接的につながるとしたら力士シールに関することだけ。原作と絵に分かれていたということは、絵を描くのはイラストレーターの方だったんだろう。力士シールが最初に発見されたのは2007年頃の東京だが、その頃そいつは九州にいた。漫画で芽が出ず、承認欲から悪ふざけで力士シールの作者を名乗り、お互いに精神を病んで、片方は持ち前の画力を生かして力士シールに取りつかれ、もう片方は物語でも書いているつもりでそれを妄想のネタにした。無論確証のない推測だが、どの道すぐにわかる。それよりも
That's a quick hypothesis, though. What was more concerning was the fact that the man hadn't left his room for years. Would he really leave it just because he'd learned about a bunch of stickers appearing? And that was where the illustrator was kept. During the new generation, it's a hallucination. Madness, there were rumors that the hospital was involved with a certain religious organization that had been involved in that particular case. And it was also supposedly related to Koshin, the company involved in the restoration work that had resulted in security cameras all over town.
俺は正直半信半疑だぞ。こんないたずら書きみたいなシールが事件に関係しているなんて。
なら安心しろ。明日は別口だ。
Kunosato opened up a file she'd saved on her PC.
これは
明日、壁法の新聞部と対談を行う渡部の記事だ。
お前が影で接触して炎上を煽ったあのネット記者か。
Jeez, this is like layers upon layers.
ああ。
She nodded and then opened up a picture of the photo of the sumo sticker that was taken at the scene. Then she lined it up against the one in the article. Shinjo stared at it for a moment and then he realized.
表情が違ってる？
渡部は今回のこと以外でも様々な現場に潜入しては大量のスクープ画像をものにしている。その数があまりにも多いため、一部の人間が捏造だと言って専門家たちに調査を求めた。渡部は快く応じ、その結果、画像には一切改ざんの跡は見られなかった。
Shinjo figured out what she was trying to say. No way, he whispered to himself.
明日、有村に確認させる。もしそうであれば、楽しい文化祭になるかもしれないな。
Yeah, I'm very much like dreading the culture festival. Something's gonna go down. Exhausted from all the work I'd been doing, I decided to use one of the meal tickets I'd been given. We never did get that drink. I headed for the cafeteria. But then I realized I'd never used the cafeteria before and had no idea how it worked. Really? I guess we bring our lunch every day or something? But still, you've been to the cafeteria, right? That's where you eat. There were a lot of loud groups that ate there, and I didn't like it. I mean, I guess there are meal tickets, but I'm assuming you give them the ticket and either you have a preset meal or you pick some things out. I don't know. Where I went to school, you just picked some stuff and paid for it. In the end, I gave up. Instead, I decided to go out into the courtyard to check on a thought I'd had. The wind chimes that had been set up for the Restoration Festival, and the wishes that were tied to them. Arimura had said it was a secret, but I was interested in seeing what she'd written down. Maybe I get a clue as to who she really was. That's an interesting idea. Unless this is also a kind of bait. She's setting up for two things. First, the interview question, and, well, I guess first this, and second, the interview question. I tried to find her name among the huge number of wind chimes. There were no clappers inside the chimes. With so many wind chimes, if there had been, it would have made an incredible noise. I saw several other messages as I searched. Please let everyone be happy, please don't let anyone be sad. There were a lot of platitudes like that. And then... I found it. Hinai Arimura. I'm actually surprised. But we'll see if he gets caught or not. It was just a single line. Okay. What did that mean? The truth about the earthquake? No, there was no truth to be found. An earthquake was an earthquake. There was an urban legend that the quake had been caused artificially, but there was no way that could be true. What had she meant when she'd written this? I turned around and saw a familiar face. My heart raced a little when I heard that. I dropped my phone at the AH Tokyo General Hospital and still didn't have it back. No, I was probably never going to get it back. They had it now. The two of them that I'd seen in the pictures in the board in the club room. Of course I'd filled out the paperwork to have it shut off already. The phone itself was locked, so if they tried to use it anyway, it should wipe itself. So they probably wouldn't be able to see what was inside, but still, the idea of someone else, particularly someone else connected to the case, having my phone wasn't a pleasant one. I'd spent the whole day reaching into my pocket and being surprised to find that it wasn't there. Only now that it was gone did I realize how much I depended on my phone. It was probably a good idea to do what she said and go buy a new one, but that phone was... Actually, she looked like she was in a big hurry a moment ago. I was dragged off again. I'd lost count of how many times that had happened today. Oh, the frog. Those voices were for my class's project, the Garo Froggy Cafe. After they said their lines, my classmates all started to do some kind of strange dance. They were making a video that would be displayed in the center of the cafe. Whatever, dude. Normally I would have been forced to spend the day recording them, but since I had to help the student council, I've been temporarily released. She pointed to the camera that I'd set up. Sarika's tiny finger reached out and hit the play button. She was right. There was no sound from the camera. I decided to start by checking the camera settings. Oh, so that was it. I called up the right setting and changed the output method. When I switched it over, I suddenly heard loud laughter and yells coming from the speaker. Sarika smiled. I felt a little relieved. If they hadn't been able to take the video, who knows what the rest of the class would have said about me. It was never broken, though?
じゃあ始めんぞカメラっ子。
はい、大丈夫です。どうぞ。
Since I was the camera expert, I was put in charge of the filming. What a pain in the butt. I didn't want to have anything to do with this crap.
んじゃあ行くぞ。せーの。
The loud music started to play again, and they all began to dance. But then they weren't happy with the result. First someone messed up the choreography, then they wanted to change the positions, it went on and on. I only felt like doing a good job the first few times. They said it was a promotional video, but it was really just a ripoff of something they'd seen on Nikonia. No matter what I did, it wasn't going to turn out right. But they were still smiling as they danced.
何がそんなに楽しいんだろうな。
ごめん間違えた。
もうだからそこは右だって右。お箸持つ方よゲロスケ。わかる？
I really didn't care. I hope this would end soon.
タク、ダメだよ。顔に出てる。
じゃあお前が代わりにやってくれよ。
タクみたいにかっこよく撮れないもん。
おだてても無駄だぞ。
おだててなんていないよ。
Sarika gave an easygoing laugh like she always did. Oh, fine, she seemed to say. And then?
ねえ宮代くん、今までの見れる？
Suddenly a girl in a costume talked to me. What was her name? I felt like I talked to her before.
見れますよ。
That is the worst feeling.
あれ？ちょっと音が悪くない？
When someone knows your name and you just have no idea, you're just like, yeah, hey, hello there.
この
カメラのマイクって音楽録音用じゃないんだそうです、田中先輩。
Yeah, really, like, hook up a microphone to the camera, I guess, if you're doing, like, a hardcore, like, professional video. Tanaka, so that was her name. Sarika was amazing. I was in the same class and I didn't even know her name.
ふーん。ありがとう。あ、そういえばさ、新聞部ワタヤンと対談するって本当？
Watayan? Yeah, Watayan?
ニコニアの渡部さんのことですか？本当ですけど。
やっぱマジなの？ちょっとマジだって。
え？
Why was she bringing everyone over here? And suddenly I was surrounded.
マジかよすげえじゃん。
対談って何すんの？
さあ、よくわかんないんですけど。
This does suck. I can feel the pressure from here. Tanaka seemed surprised.
え？あの動画のことじゃないの？
I was surprised. Even Tanaka knew about it? Even someone whose name I didn't know? Wow, incredible.
てかさ、新聞部っていまいち目立ってないけど、実はすごかったりする？
そんなことは。
I mean, maybe he's saying that to make the conversation go away, but Miyashiro's whole thing is that he says he's special. If they're having an interview with Watayan, that means... And Tanaka started to talk, and everyone started to listen. But what the heck was going on? I knew that Kazuki's classmates in Arimura had talked about it, but I didn't expect my own class to get this excited. Really? But it's the one you're in. Like, you'd think they would particularly be the most excited. Was talking to Watabe that special?
つかよ。んなことよりもう一つの噂。お前、あれってマジなん？
え？
Other rumor?
川原と殴り合ったって。
Wow. I almost reached for my cheek, but managed to stop myself.
はあ？マジで？
あ、そういえば少し腫れてる。
Well, it's over. A chorus of, wait, how, and why began. Guys, calm down. What was going on here?
すげえな宮代。お前喧嘩なんかすんの？
Just the one fight, actually.
いや喧嘩ってわけじゃ。
であれだろ宮代、川原ってことは女帝と関係あんだろ？
いやまあそうですけど。
Miyashiro is really falling for it. The correct answer is no comment. None of your business.
え、何それ何それ、もしかしてノノの取り合い？
マジ？かっこいいじゃん。
I couldn't take any more. Was he literally just running out of the room? I went out to the hallway as the girls started to talk about romance. I leaned up against the wall and sighed. I could hear people in the classroom asking where I had gone. My head hurt.
タク、大丈夫？
Sarika poked her head out of the classroom. I waved a hand and told her I was fine. They're asking where I went, and she just sticks her head out. Oh, I'm right there. I'm 3 feet away. The people asking where I went really didn't bother looking. And then...
人気者になったね、タク。
Sarika was smiling. I had no idea what she was happy about.
お前な。
They were just talking about my interview with Watabe and my argument with Kawahara because it was a good excuse to get excited and have fun.
気づいた？
何が？
呼び方、カメラっ子から宮代になってたよ。
I actually did notice that. Was I?
宮代くん？
え？
Tanaka poked her head out from behind Sarika.
どうしたの？いきなり出てっちゃって。
そのトイレに。
I mean, just like... You're crowding me and it's a pain in the ass. Like, I mean, you're not gonna say that way, but it's like, you guys are crowding me. Come on, man.
あ、そっか。ごめん。
Tanaka scratched her cheek a little. She looked apologetic.
ごめんね。大事な対談とかあるのにダラダラしちゃって。ダンス、次でちゃんと決めるから。
はい、私たちも可愛く撮りますから、頑張ってください。
Sarika answered for me.
ありがとう。
As she turned to go back into the classroom, I found myself speaking to her.
田中さん。
何？
Huh? Why was I saying this?
踊りに使ってる曲の音源、後でもらえますか？
それはいいけど、なんで？
最初のセリフ以外は踊ってるだけですから、セリフと音楽を別にして映像に重ねます。それで綺麗な音にできると思います。
That is true. That would be a lot better, like a clean track over it instead of using the camera to record the track. If you're going to use an editing program, that'll definitely be better.
そんなことこれからできるの？ありがとう。じゃあそれで。ごめん。トイレ早く行ってきて。
She ran back into the classroom excited. Whew, that made me nervous. I felt so tired. Sarika waved her cell phone strap at me happily. It made the same strange sounds as it always did.
だから何が嬉しいんだよお前。
タクがね、やる気になってるから。
別にそういうわけじゃない。ただ。
Even if it was cliché, for a moment I thought this whole school festival thing might not be so bad. I opened the lid on my Mountain View. Oh, we got it, and took a big gulp. My head finally felt clear. Mountain View really was the water of life. Except for literally water, which is used to sustain life. By the time I finished helping with the setup for the cafe and the other things the student council had needed me for, it was night. The air on the roof was a little cool on my skin. But still, all the preparations weren't finished, and the student council, including me and the other helpers, had been running around the whole time. I might end up having to stay the night. Wow, I would not be reliable for school spirit stuff in that sense. I would do the work, but I would also go the hell home.
勘弁してほしいよな。まったく。
何が？
そりゃいくら文化祭だからって何も泊まってまで。
I can't even comprehend staying at school overnight. Like, they shut that down. Like, you can't even do that. There's after-hours stuff, but, like, that'll end at, what, 5 or 6 or something like that? I can't even picture staying at school at night. Huh?
お疲れ様。
Well, alright.
クルス？
For a moment I doubted what I was seeing, but it was definitely Kurusu.
何やってんだよ。怪我は大丈夫なのか？
いやだ。あんまり重病人扱いしないでほしいわね。
I mean... But I could see her face twist just a little in pain. Of course. She had only been stabbed 2 days ago. Even I knew that she ought to stay in bed.
重病人扱いも何も重病人だろ。寝てなきゃダメじゃないか。
Whenever me or the other kids, got sick or got hurt, Kurusu was always the one to say, "Don't push yourself too hard, it's okay to rely on the people around you." When I told her that, she chuckled.
覚えてるのね。
She seemed a little happy. To the point where we cut off the music.
気になって少し様子を見に来ただけ。しっかりやってくれてるみたいで、ちょっと安心した。
大丈夫だよ。サボるわけないだろ。
勘弁してくれって言っていたのに。
Well, I mean, we were busting our ass all day. You didn't see that part.
それは。
Kurusu smiled as if she enjoyed watching me choke on my words.
はい、これ。
Kurusu handed me a small bag. It was handmade from felt. Back when I still lived with her, Kurusu had made one for me, Yui, Yuto, and herself, each in a different color. Where did I put mine, come to think of it? Unless this is mine?
お弁当。あなたのことだから、どうせご飯もちゃんと食べてないんでしょ？
作ってきたのか？
おにぎりくらいだけどね。
I didn't have time to make anything more, she said. What was she thinking? Why would she do that when she was injured? I sat down and opened the bag, and there was a little lunchbox inside. There were 2 big rice balls, a lightly pan-fried hot dog, and some tamagoyaki. She was right, none of that was particularly hard to make.
バランスとか全然で悪いけど。
I think I heard her say balanced.
どうしたの？
いや、いただきます。
I suddenly felt really embarrassed. I decided to try and hide it by taking a big bite out of the rice ball. It was a taste I hadn't experienced in a while, and it was one I used to enjoy all the time.
ねえ、今日のこと聞いてもいい？
Kurusu waited for me to finish, then gently asked me. I looked up and saw that at some point she started staring up at the stars.
今日一日何があったのか知りたいの。朝から何があって、あなたがどういうことをしていたのか。
生徒会の手伝いだよ。知ってるだろ。
具体的に聞きたいのよ。あなたの口から直接。
She turned toward me. She seemed very serious about this. I didn't really know what she was thinking, but I felt like I had to give her a real answer.
和樹の手伝いをした。
和樹の？
うん。クラスの展示に使うパーツを運んでほしいって。
そう。和樹喜んでた？
多分。ああ、そういえばスルメくれた。
そう。他には？
有村さんに知らないクラスのパンフレット作りを手伝わされた。
有村さん？
Her eyes narrowed just a little. Arimura was involved in the case, so she probably didn't want me talking to her.
大丈夫だよ。本当にパンフを作らされただけだから。
And if it makes you feel any better, I didn't come chasing after her, she literally dragged me into her classroom.
そう。それだけなのね。
I really hope there's something shady about those pamphlets. Even though she seems to be working under Kunosato. To be honest, I tried to talk to her a little about the case, but if I told Kurisu that, she'd get worried. So I didn't.
それで、他には？あなたのクラスはどうなの？ゲロカエルン喫茶だったかしら？
ああ、それはなんとか形になったみたいだけど。
あなたが映像の担当なんでしょ？
Oh yeah, I nodded.
もうほとんど終わってて、残りは明日の朝。映像はもうできてるから、それに音楽を載せるだけなんだ。
朝で間に合うの？
十分だろ。
And honestly, I hadn't expected to be working until the morning of the festival.
でも、今日は泊まり込みになるんでしょ？
Kurisu talked as if it was the most natural thing in the world. I almost couldn't believe it.
毎年、こんなに忙しかったのか？文化祭って。
I'd never participated, so I had no idea that everyone was doing all this work.
まあね。でも今年は特別。復興祭も近いし、初めての3学年揃っての文化祭だから。
そっか。
We third-year students had been the first class at Hekiho Academy. This would be the first year that all 3 grades had a full class at the school.
もう一日中バタバタしすぎて、わけがわかんなかったよ。
I'd been forced to carry so much stuff that I was getting muscle cramps, and then it was one problem after another. And talking to new people always made me nervous, and I'd had to do that a bunch of times. I was really tired.
何?
Kurisu saw me thinking back on the day's events and smiled.
それで？それで、あなたはどう感じたの？
How did it feel?
大変だったよ。
それだけ？
It was like she could read my mind. Damn it. I felt just a little awkward as I spoke.
あのさ。
ええ。
うちのクラスとか、結構いいやつもいた。
そうなんだ。
うん。明日の渡部との対談、楽しみにしてるって。
そう。
あと、カメラっ子って言っていたやつが、宮代って。
うん。どう？タクル。
何が？
She looked like a mother giving a present to a young child.
事件なんか追わなくても結構楽しいものでしょ？
それは。
I tried to deny it, but I couldn't. That's right. Kurisu had come all this way even though she was hurt just to say this.
タクル、帰ってくる気にはなれない？父さんもユイもユウトもそれを望んでる。特にユイがね、あなたがお風呂掃除をしていなかったってうるさいの。
I could imagine it. Yui was like a mini Kurisu. The women definitely had the upper hand in that household.
タクル、もう事件なんか追わないって約束して帰ってきなさい。手伝ってほしいことたくさんあるの。タクル、
ごちそうさま。
I put the lunchbox back in the bag, stood up, and handed it to Kursu. Then I headed toward the door.
わかった。考えてみるよ。
そう、よかった。
I could hear Kursu's footsteps as she tried to catch up to me. But the next moment... Yeah, pushed it too hard? I heard a small moan and I turned around. Kursu had crumbled to the ground, holding her stomach.
おい、クルス。
平気、大丈夫。
She was trying to force herself to smile, but there were thick drops of sweat on her forehead.
大丈夫じゃないだろ。
ごめんなさい。
とにかく帰るんだ。タクシー呼ぶから。
I let her lean on my shoulder as we hurried to the front gate as quietly, but quickly, as possible.
青葉院までお願いします。
I got her loaded inside the taxi and told the driver where to go.
タクル。さっきのこと考えておいて。
Fine, I get it. I moved away so I could shut the door.
タクル。ありがとう。
何が？
何がだろうね。
The door closed and the taxi disappeared down the road. Usually everyone called her the Empress, and she acted like my big sister. Now she looked weak, as if I was the big brother and she was the little sister.
あ、そうだ、ユイ。
I remembered Yui when I thought of little sisters. I needed to send her a message about Kurisu. But I can't because I have no phone. I put my hand into my pocket and once again realized that my phone wasn't there. Damn it, how many times did this happen today? I'd have to ask Sarika.
宮代？
Just some kid.
川
Oh,
原くん。
huh. Oh no, had he seen Kurisu here?
何かあったのか？あ、いや、そうじゃありませんけど。そうか。
From the way he was acting, he probably hadn't seen her, right? If he had seen her, he wouldn't be acting this way. He'd probably blame me for putting too much strain on Kurisu and hit me again.
ほら。
Kawahara tossed something at me. What? Oh. I thought I, fell over. I almost dropped it, but managed to grab it at the last second. It was a can of coffee.
飲めよ。いや、でも。泊まり込みになるからな。はあ、どうも。
He opened another can for himself and took a drink, then looked around the courtyard. There were stalls lined up, each covered in flashy decorations. All the preparations were finished around here.
クルスが来れないって分かったときはどうなるかと思ったけど、なんとか形になりそうだな。うん。
What was going on? Kawahara kept glancing over at me as if he was waiting for the right moment to say something. He's probably going to apologize for duffing me in the face. Eventually, he took a big sip of his coffee and said,
悪かったな。ん?
He pointed to my cheek. I knew he was talking about hitting me.
いえ、悪かったのは僕ですから。
He began to speak hesitantly. Actually, you see...
あの日の次の朝、クルスから電話があったんだ。できればお前に謝ってほしいっつってな。 そんなの気にすることないですよ。
まあな、そりゃそうなんだけどよ。
Kawahara sighed, stretched, and leaned up against the school gate.
癖かもな。小学生の時からあいつは委員長っつうか、いつもリーダーみたいなことやってたからな。
小学生の時からあんなだったんですか。
Both Kurusu and Kawahara went to the same public elementary school. I'd gone to a different private one.
とにかく面倒見が良くてな。みんなあいつのこと好きだったよ。特に俺とあともう一人。地震で死んじまったけど、南沢ってやつはいつもクルスと一緒にいた。3人でよくつるんでたんだよ。
へえ。
知ってるか？あいつ小学校の頃は毎年リレーの選手だったんだぜ。
え？
I was really surprised. She didn't seem to be that bad at sports, but she certainly didn't seem to like them. She couldn't do a spin in the horizontal bar. He must have found my reaction funny because Kawahara continued in a more upbeat tone.
あの地震で大怪我してな。今はそうでもないけど、しばらくは歩くのさえ大変そうにしてたんだ。
I'd had no idea. When I'd woken up a year after the earthquake, I hadn't seen any sign of that. She'd probably gone through a lot of hard rehab while I'd been in a coma.
その影響で運動はほとんどしなくなった。一度だけ運動部に誘ったんだが断られたよ。
そうだったんですか。
There was a moment of awkwardness. I didn't know what to do. Come to think of it, I'd never talked with Kawahara like this before. Probably because we're terrible at talking to like anybody who's not part of our group of like 5.
文化祭盛り上げられるだけ盛り上げようぜ。あいつから任されたんだからな。
Kawahara turned away from me and walked back into the school building.
そうか。
I realized that he'd been acting weird all day because he was waiting for a chance to apologize. Oh my god. These sumo sticker memes will have you dying. Boy, they got the clickbait down. Number 3 will shock you. In any case, for now it is time to stop the installment. Well, we certainly made a lot of progress today, didn't we? We saw some different perspectives, but a lot of this was our preparation for the cultural festival, and things seem to be going okay. We kind of calmed things down with Kurusu. Not completely. We're not all in on going home, although it probably would be nice. But we've settled things with Kawahara. Things are looking up. But of course, we have the cultural festival coming up. I'm waiting for something to go down. Until next time, everyone.